WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Indie Softwater, installing water softeners and reverse osmosis systems for homeowners and businesses in central Indiana for over 25 years. The softest, cleanest water begins with Indie Softwater. More at indiesoftwater.com.
WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Visit Bloomington, Indiana, where Hoagie Carmichael, Booker T. Jones, and John Mellencamp impacted the city and helped it become a music destination. Bloomington is home to a variety of musical artists, live music venues, and hundreds of annual music events. More information at musicbloomington.com. This is Small Studio Signal Boost from WFYI. I'm Melissa Davis, your host tonight, along with co-host Adam Gross. We have a special pledge drive edition of Small Studio Signal Boost tonight. We'll listen back to some of our most recent Small Studio sessions with Sweet Poison Victim, Wishy, and The Last Four. You'll hear music from our Small Studio Signal Boost playlist and our local frequency project. An Indianapolis-based music journalist shares a top 5 of some of his favorite Indiana tracks. Small Studio Signal Boost plays contemporary music from Indiana-based and connected musicians every week. And tonight, we need to hear from you in support of this work. Stay with us for an hour of new music from Indiana-based artists here on Small Studio Signal Boost. So, Adam, we're going to start off with music from our playlist. What do we have?
Yeah, so in case you haven't ever seen it on Spotify, we curate a playlist of all the songs we play every week. There's over 24 hours now of music from Indiana-based artists on that playlist. So if you're ever looking for something to listen to or looking for, a way to discover Indiana music without having to listen to this full show, which you should, you can just go to that playlist. There's exactly 34 hours of Indiana music on there.
All day and all night.
Yeah, almost a whole day and a half. And, we're doing this playlist and we're supporting these local artists with your support. You can continue to support the work we're doing by going to wfyi.org/give. So I want to kick things off with an artist that I just found out about recently. The band is called Rocking Chair, and they're from Indianapolis. This track is called R.I.P., and I'll follow that up with Neon Sun from Laura Kay and the Bootleggers.
Shouldn't even think to ask, I'ma do it anyway. I know I always move too fast, I'ma do it anyway. 'Cause I've never been good enough for anything I really want. I've got boxes of poems, of broken hearts that never really hit their mark. 'Cause I know just what they'll say.
So you've gotta work. Tomorrow I do too. What's another headache? The boss will give us quite a few. There's a lot to unpack. It was a hell of a day. Let's turn it around now. Friday's too far away. So we're drinking till the jukebox plays its last.
You're tuned to Small Studio Signal Boost. I'm Adam Gross here with Melissa Davis, and we're listening to songs from our Small Studio Signal Boost playlist. Each week we bring you new music from Indiana-based artists, and most of those songs end up on our playlist at the end of each week, so that's a good way to check it out. You can search for Small Studio Signal Boost on Spotify. It's on the WFYI music page. We have some other songs on there as well, some other playlists, and our Small Studio Signal Boost playlist has 34 hours of music on it, so a lot of Indiana tunes to sink your teeth into. Up next, we're going to hear 2 tracks. I've got one from Oreo Jones. This is Dorothy Dandridge in E minor, followed by Bloomington's All Bail with the track Dog Bite.
Wrote this in 28 point, got that fine. A jiggy nigga like me roll for 65 just like the Autobahn. Roll to the function, how's the ambiance? The melody is like a golden tablecloth she tap her fingers on. I'm starving Marvin like it's Ramadan. These hazel eyes you gaze upon but know we're searching for an audience. Curiosity's a kitten in your bankroll. As the sunlight kisses angles as they change clothes. Pray for a boundless night, dance under the harvest moon. As your heartbeat to the tempo of this fade.
When the lights of your eyes start to show,
This is Small Studio Signal Boost. You can check out the music featured tonight on our Spotify playlist by searching WFYI Music. We would love to hear from you in support of Small Studio Signal Boost and the programming that you depend on. Go to WFYI.org/give or WBAA.org/give and pledge your support at our website, and we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, we bring you a lot of national music programming, but also local music programming. Small Studio Signal Boost, Cultural Manifesto, Echoes of Indiana Avenue, the Blues House Party. These are all created in-house with your support, and you can support that, like Melissa said, at WFYI.org/give. And coming up, I have a top 5 from Indianapolis music journalist Rob Pioni. He's a member.
Oh,
and
yay.
He in the top 5, I've played this before, but I thought it'd be nice to play tonight because in the top 5, he talks about why he's a member. He talks about what he gets out of listening to our show and the other shows we have on our stations. And I really appreciate Rob's perspective and the work he's done in our music community to help support local artists over the years. So let's have Rob take it away. Rob, thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Adam. I'm happy to be here.
So you're one of the biggest supporters and champions of Indiana music that I know. And in just a moment, you're going to share some songs from your favorite Indiana albums. But before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about you. You're a writer, and you've written music coverage for several publications. And you now have your own music newsletter called Finding My Voice. Can you talk a little bit about the newsletter and how that came about?
Yeah. As you mentioned, I've kind of carved out a small career for myself writing mostly for other people. But it started, I graduated from college in 2008, not many job opportunities at that time.
Sure.
And just as a vehicle for getting my writing out there, I started a blog called Thought on Tracks, just like your typical music blog from 2008, writing record reviews, interviewing people when we had the chance and that kind of stuff. And that turned into arts marketing for local organizations like Big Car. I wrote for a publication that CICF had for a little while called Sky Blue Window, things like that. And I fell into nonprofit work through that, just kind of through my interest in the arts. And I got involved with the Tonic Ball Planning Committee, which led to a job doing marketing for Second Helpings, the organization that event supports. From there, I left and went to Well Done Marketing and worked at an agency for a few years. And some feedback that I got from my boss, like consistently, was that he was always pushing me to find my voice in the work that I was delivering to these clients. So I had kind of like marinated on that feedback for a while, and like it felt like the last time that I had something unique to say about something was when I was writing about music for myself.
Yeah.
And I work for IU Health Foundation currently. I still do nonprofit work for my day job, but I just missed writing for myself about things that I care about. I believe in supporting the things that you want to see and hear more of in this world. That's why I work in nonprofits. It's why I'm a member here at WFYI. It's
Thank
why you're welcome. It's why I subscribe to multiple digital and print publications. It's why I collect vinyl music. I just think we have to put our money in our muscle where our mouths are when it comes to that sort of thing. So I launched the newsletter like 6 months or a year ago, just as kind of a vehicle to give me the opportunity to talk to people making things that I care about, that feel like they deserve a larger audience than they currently have.
Yeah, and the newsletter is called Finding My Voice, like
That's
your
right.
boss used to tell you.
That's right. Just like my boss used
That's
to tell
great.
me to.
I love that.
Yeah.
So local music, how did your interest in local music start?
Yeah. Like I said, I had launched that blog, Thought on Treks, back in like 2011, and that led to an internship in 2013 with Musical Family Tree. At the time, it was transitioning from being the redheaded stepchild of Small Blocks Marketing and under Jeb Banner, who founded it, into a standalone nonprofit of its own. So I spent the better part of 2013 for 20 hours a week writing and listening to Indiana music part-time. And if that job would give me insurance benefits for me and my family, I would still be doing it today. Like, it was one of the best jobs I've ever had. That's where I fell in love with Indiana music, really. And just like moving back from Bloomington after college, I was like rediscovering this town that I had grown up in, and it had moved a long way culturally since I grew up here. And I just really fell in love with the local music scene, just going out to shows on 3-4 nights a week, when the things you can do when you're 20 that you can't do when you're 39.
Right.
Yeah.
So now that you can't go out 3-4 times a week, you have a family. What keeps your interest in local music going?
I mean, it feels like I'm just tooting WFYI's horn being here. But like coverage of local culture has come a long way, and I really do believe that WFYI deserves a lot of credit for that. I don't keep up with things nearly as well as I used to, especially contemporary stuff, but things like Cultural Manifesto, this show, keeps me connected to this stuff on a regular basis. I feel like there's better coverage of local arts and culture currently than there has been my entire life living in Indy. So there's lots of opportunities. I mean, you definitely have to seek it out, but I listen as much as I have time to.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It's good to know that we're having an impact.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, the time has come. I know picking only 5 songs to share was very difficult for you.
It was gut-wrenching.
And I'd like to point out for everyone listening that you're pulling records, 5 records out of a bag right now.
That's correct.
So you brought the physical vinyl with you.
That's right.
I see Apache Dropout right there on the top.
That's right.
Is that number 1? Or in no particular order?
Yeah, this is in no particular order, but we can start there. Like I said earlier, I graduated from college in 2008, and there were no jobs. And so I was like working for a landscaping crew, cutting lawns in the suburbs during the day. And then I would spend the evenings going out to shows and kind of rediscovering this city that I grew up in at night. MOKB Presents was just kind of starting to gain steam back then. There was like a really exciting rock scene in Fountain Square that revolved largely around a house venue at 945 Morris Street, run by a guy named Jacob Gardner.
R.I.P. to that house.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. Now it's like a 4-story modern house. Yeah. Very different than I remember it. There were a lot of great bands making noise back then, but Apache Dropout kind of defines the sound of that era for me for some reason. Listening to their stuff just immediately transports me back to those sweaty house shows. I'm particularly fond. I brought their self-titled debut album. It was released by this small label called Family Vineyard, run by a guy named Eric Weddle, who also happens to work at WFYI.
That is right. It all comes back here.
Yeah, it really does. But yeah, in a previous life, Eric helped co-found Secretly Canadian. I think he's been on this show in the past. Is that right?
He has, yeah. He
He's
did one of these top 5s.
That's right, yeah. So yeah. Song, I chose Sam Phillips' Rising. I could have chosen any song from this record, but I really love that one.
That was Apache Dropout with Sam Phillips Rising. I'm here with Rob Pioni, and he's sharing 5 of his favorite songs from Indiana artists. He's got a stack of vinyl here, and I see on this stack of vinyl up next is another Bloomington musician.
That's right. Up next is Mike Adams at his honest weight. I've loved Mike Adams' music for a long time. He's an institution in the Bloomington music scene. Jason Woodbury, the editor of my favorite music blog, Aquarium Drunkard, referred to Mike as a pop rock auteur when he wrote about him a few years ago. And ever since, I've just thought that was like the perfect tagline for him. He's a songsmith of the highest order with like this really dynamic stage presence. sense. And I chose I Don't Want to Believe in Anything off of his first record, Oscillate Wisely. This probably isn't my favorite Mike Adams song, but it's definitely one of my favorite tracks off of that debut, Oscillate Wisely. For years, I thought the simple interplay between the drums and piano would be a perfect sample for a classic hip-hop beat, so I chose this song to encourage any local hip-hop artists who might be listening to breathe new life into it. Not that it needs it. The original is perfect just the way it is, but I just have always thought that this could be like sampled and reinvented in some different, interesting way.
And I can get behind most every word he ever said, 'cause when it came to love, we had one. But I don't wanna believe in anything but
Another Bloomington rock auteur was a guy named Bill Wilson. I have a handful of his records. They all fall neatly into the singer-songwriter mold. He must have had a pretty big following in his time. My parents remember him, and they are decidedly unhip.
I was going to say, this looks older.
Yeah, it's 1973.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Much of his catalog can be too sleepy for me, but the story around his 1973 record, this one, Ever-Changing Minstrel, is the stuff of legend. The story goes that he drove down to Nashville, Tennessee, and knocked on the door of this record producer, Bob Johnston, who had recorded like Bob Dylan's Blonde on Blonde.
Oh, wow.
And just played songs for him in his living room or something. And he liked what he heard enough to call in the same session players that played on Blonde, and they recorded this entire record in one night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, we can play Black Cat Blues from Bill Wilson's Ever-Changing Minstrel.
Hard luck riding, yeah. Way out in these black cat blues. Hard luck riding, yeah. Wearing striped hats, singing these black cat blues.
That was Bloomington's Bill Wilson with Black Cat Blues from 1973, and Rob has the vinyl copy of this here, and this cover is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like a rainbow, kind of, with his silhouette of his face over the front. It's very grabbing.
Yeah. The other thing I should have said about this record is, and you mentioned that I have a family now. I had a son in 2020, and there was like very little to do in that year other than get ready for my son to arrive. And so I spent an inordinate amount of time thinking about what was going to be the first record that I would play him when we brought him home from the hospital. And I finally landed on this record because I knew it had to be a record from Indiana because I'm really passionate about Indiana music. And there are probably records that would have meant more to me personally than this one for sure. But it's a great record.
That's great.
Yeah.
You need to get like a sealed copy to give him on his 18th birthday.
Well, Tompkins Square reissued it like a decade ago, so I probably need to seek out like the pristine reissue instead of this scuffed up old 1973 version.
This scuffed up 1973 version's great.
Yeah.
Okay, up next, you've got another one that looks like it has a pretty cool cover that I've also not heard of.
Yeah. This is The Late Show, and it's a record called Portable Pop. As I said earlier, one of the best jobs I ever had was as an intern for Musical Family Tree years ago. And in the summer of 2013, we put on this concert series in Broad Ripple Park called Listen Local. And it was this concert series. It was all ages, and we let people play what they want to attend. And thanks to the discerning taste of Everything Now frontman and then Musical Family Tree director John Rogers, one of the bands we booked was The Late Show. It features Don Main on lead vocals. Listeners would probably know Don as one of the co-founders of Puccini's Smiling Teeth.
Oh, wow.
So he's still around Indy doing good things, making good food. But yeah, they put out this one perfect record. I don't know what year it is. But yeah, 1980. I think the guys that played in this band started as like high school friends at North Central when it started. I think the original drummer was Mark Kutzinger, who would go on to be the drummer in the Zero Boys.
Right.
I'm not sure he played on this record. But yeah, I chose the song Take a Chance because that seems like good advice for anyone who's interested in getting into Indiana music. Take a chance. It's worth listening to.
Hey girl, what you gonna do now that he's gone? Hey girl, I saw you smiling when I came along. Hey girl, are you looking for another guy to hurt? I love the way you walk, that's good. I think I'll take a chance. Take a chance.
Okay, Rob, last but not least.
Last but not least, this one goes out to my wife. I chose Busman's Holiday, What We Need We Know, off Popular Cycles on local record label Joyful Noise Recordings. I got married in 2017 at the old Central State Hospital. My wife, Carrie, and I had gone to this weird art exhibition there a year or two before we got married. There were like actors dressed up as ghosts haunting the halls of this old insane asylum. Somehow I convinced my wife to let me play exclusively original Indiana music during our ceremony, and she walked down the aisle to this song. So for the rest of my life, I'll think of my gorgeous wife in her wedding dress whenever I hear it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Future vibrates, presents put on hold. Days are young, the times are old. What we need, we know. The days are young, the times are
Rob, that was a very sentimental top 5. We have the song from your wedding.
That's right.
We
The
have
first record I played my son.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks for coming by and
But,
sharing
I
that.
mean, that's also just what Indiana music does, and I think why I like it so much is because it connects us to these very tangential things that we can like touch right here in our lives.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's important enough for your wedding and your firstborn child, it's important enough for
The listeners of WFYI.
That's right. That's right. Well, thanks for being a fan of local music, and thanks for supporting it, and thanks for starting your newsletter. I'm really excited to see where it goes. How can people follow it and keep up with what you're writing?
Yeah. You can find it at Rob Peony, that's RobPeoni.substack.com. And yeah, it's just Finding My Voice newsletter. If you search for it, you'll probably find it that way too.
Perfect. Well, thanks again for coming on.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me.
Join Rob Peony in membership at WFYI.org/give or WBAA.org/give. Thanks, Rob, for that top 5, and thanks for your support. Coming up, we'll hear some of our most recent small studio sessions powered by your support here on Small Studio Signal Boost. Stay tuned. WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Visit Bloomington, Indiana, where Hoagie Carmichael, Booker T. Jones, and John Mellencamp impacted the city and helped it become a music destination. Bloomington is home to a variety of musical artists, live music venues, and hundreds of annual music events. More information at musicbloomington.com. This is Small Studio Signal Boost. Thanks for listening tonight. You can find the music featured by following our playlists. Just search for WFYI Music on Spotify, and you can find the podcast edition of the show wherever you get your podcasts or at WFYI.org/podcasts. And while you're there, check out WFYI.org/give or WBAA.org/give. I'm Melissa Davis, joined by Adam Gross. And Adam, we're going to play back some of our most recently recorded small studio sessions. You record all of these.
Yeah, I do record all of these. With your support, we're able to bring in local bands into our nicely crafted small studio and record them and produce great videos and play them on the radio and put them on the internet for to give them a broader reach, to help some of these bands break out to wider audiences. And we've heard a lot of good feedback from these artists that it's been really helpful for them. Some of them, it's their favorite thing they've done are the small studio sessions. So it's really nice that with your support, we're able to bring these artists in and give them this little boost. And again, you can support us in doing this work at WFYI.org/give or WBAA.org/give. I think we should go in chronological order.
Yeah.
Over the last year, we've done 3 of these. So want to kick it off with the last 4?
Great band, sort of a band made up of legends.
That's right, yeah.
That are Indianapolis-based musicians that have played across the country and across the world.
Across the world,
right?
Yeah, that's right. Vess and Devin from the band were in the Lemonheads and toured literally all over the world, Australia, Europe.
Cool.
I think Vess and Tufty toured in Europe with Zero Boys, and, all over.
And I would say another Indianapolis legend, Rusty Runbacher, fronts the last 4.
Mm-hmm.
Just such a talented and dedicated group of musicians who work here in Indy.
Yeah, inspiring that they're still at it.
Yes, very cool.
Let's
well,
give
let's
it a
listen.
listen.
Yeah. Let's listen to it.
Love it.
You wanna ask me why I'm fighting when I'm fighting and I feel it's obvious.
was the last 4 on Small Studio Signal Boost from their Small Studio session. Adam, this next band has been on WFYI, but also has been on the BBC. They are like blowing up, and it's so cool to see what they're doing kind of in real time.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. They Wishy is the band, and they just keep getting announced on new festivals, huge national festivals. You know, their records are selling like hotcakes. They're being heard all over the world. It's really exciting to see. This band also has musicians that have been in other bands, and they've all kind of been at it for a while, so it's really cool to see all the hard work pay off for them.
Yeah.
Super exciting.
Love to see that. Let's listen to Wishy's Small Studio session here on Small Studio Signal Boost.
Woke up again with your name in my mouth. Drive myself sick not to let it fall out. 'Cause you say a word and I'll fall at your feet. Does this mean the world to me? I gotta face it tonight on my own. Left with the fantasy haunting my phone. But once in a while I just smile at that and shake up the chains on my back. Are you down? Are you free? Are you listening to me though? I'm talking about blood on the outside this time. Can we rewind to the moment I'm dreaming of? I'm talking about blood on the outside. Oh, yeah. People are strange in this life, such a chaos. Caught up believing there's a war to be had. But once in a while you can smile at that. And once in a while I'll come back. After all this time I still got questions to ask. Are you down? Are you free? Are you listening to me though? I'm talking about love on the outside this time. Can we rewind to the moment I'm dreaming of? I'm talking about love on the outside. Love, yeah.
That was Indianapolis band Wishy performing songs from their Small Studio session here on Small Studio Signal Boost. And if you like what you heard, you can watch them perform these songs if you go to wfyi.org/smallstudio. And then once you're there, if you pop over to wfyi.org/give or WBAA.org/give. You can help support us in the work we do, including recording and filming and bringing you these small studio sessions from local artists.
Yeah, I was thinking small studio sessions. We're at our 10-year anniversary this year.
Yeah.
So for 10 years, we've been doing this, a decade of documenting Indianapolis's music scene and some national acts as well, but really mainly our regional and local artists. If you would like to support this coverage, we would love to hear from you at WFYI.org/give, WBAA.org/give. We want to continue doing this for the years to come. So the best way to do that is to support this program.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd like to keep this going if I can. And this might be hard for you to believe, Melissa, but we're almost coming up on 5 years of this show.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think pat myself.
Yeah, we did a good job.
Yeah.
But again, we can only do it with your support, and you can help us with that at WFYI.org/give or WBAA.org/give. Let's get to the last small studio session we'll hear tonight. This is Sweet Poison Victim, a band that I don't think has played all over the world, but they play sounds from all over the world.
Love that.
Yeah,
such a good band.
Yeah. They're an African high life band, but they also have some like Latin vibes thrown in. Super great band. They've been doing it in Indianapolis for a long time, and they have toured around the country, I think, a little bit. So, yeah, super exciting to have them in. We've been wanting to get them in the studio for a long time. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I think since the beginning we talked about this, and you're brave enough to take it on. And you did a great job. It sounds fantastic.
Thank you.
Sweet Poison Victim, I think we had 13 band members in this small studio, and it is actually small, so that can be tough sometimes. But you did a great job.
Oh,
and
thanks,
it sounds
Melissa.
fantastic. And we'll hear it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, let's
You're
give it a
welcome.
listen.
Why you doing on yoda, on soda, on shoma, on comoda, za. Sweet poison. Obede. Remember me from home and down one side. Hey. Okwantintina ware minko. Okwantintina ware minko. Seminyami kona sembi simechira meyeden. Seminyami kona sembi simechira meyeden. Okwantintina ware minko. Sembi simechira meyeden mati. Okwantintina ware minko. Okwantintina ware minko. Seminyami kona sembi simechira meyeden. Hey, sembi simechira meyeden. Okwantintina ware minko. Na sembi simechira meyeden mati. Hey, Kwese usi na mayedan. Okwantintina ware minko. Okwantintina ware minko. Seminyami kona sembi simechira mayedan. Seminyami kona sembi simechira mayedan. Okwantintina ware minko. Asembi simechira mayedan mati. Okwantintina ware minko. Opantintina ware minko. Seminyami kona sembi simejira meyeden. Seminyami kona sembi simejira meyeden. Oh tintina ware minko asembi simejira meyeden. Kwese Okwantintina ware minko. Okwantintina ware minko. Seminyami kona sembi simejira meyeden. Seminyami kona sembi simejira meyeden. Okwantintina ware minko. Asembi simejira meyeden mati. Okwantintina ware minko. Okwantintina ware minko. Seminyami kona sembi simejira meyeden. Seminyami kona sembi simejira meyeden. Okwantintina ware minko. Asembi simejira meyeden mati. Aware Ebe kwesi.
That's Sweet Poison Victim from their small studio session. Before that, we heard from Wishy and The Last Four. Support local programming at WFYI.org/give and WBAA.org/give. And thank you. This is Small Studio Signal Boost. Be sure to follow your favorite artists on social media for updates and info. Adam Gross and Roxana Caldwell created our show. This episode was produced by Adam Gross and me, Melissa Davis. You can check out the podcast edition of the show wherever you get your podcasts or at WFYI.org. And if you'd like to submit your music to get played on the show, just visit WFYI.org/local-frequency. Adam, we're at our last song of the night. What do you have?
Yeah, I wanted to play one that I featured before as part of our local frequency project. We were talking about the Signal Boost playlist earlier. We also have a local frequency playlist of all instrumental music. You can find this one on there. It's on our Spotify page. This is From the 317 with Fresh Air. Have a great night.
WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Indie Softwater, installing water softeners and reverse osmosis systems for homeowners and businesses in central Indiana for over 25 years. The softest, cleanest water begins with Indie Soft Water. More at indiesoftwater.com.